Within the blood pyramid, Luo Feng held the black pendant in his hand. The material of the pendant was almost exactly the same as the green token, only the color was different. On the pendant, there was also a strange beast carving that he had never seen before. The strange beast had 9 huge fangs and its eyes were spitting fire, as though it was the ruler of the darkness. Black token, corresponding to the black room. Luo Feng played with the token, nodding. The universe boat itself is indeed mysterious and unpredictable. The crazy swallowing energy from before, even the pinnacle treasures were destroyed. This one is still perfectly fine. I wonder if there are treasures within the black room. Luo Feng thought. Actually, it was very possible that there were treasures within the black room. Especially those from the first reincarnation era, those that were about to die. They normally didn't want to give the treasures they risked their lives for to the second reincarnation era, the primal universe, hence they would rather place them in the secret room or somewhere else, and then hide the token. It all depended on luck. Of course some warriors would rather destroy the treasure. Different warriors naturally had different thoughts. I hope the 5 turbid lord left the treasure within the secret room. Luo Feng thought, however the secret room itself is a treasure ground. Black token, green token and silver token. These 3 tokens represented 3 types of independent chambers. The independent space of the secret room itself also had many special features. Plus Luo Feng was originally planning to head to the black room region where the black stone pillars were to train his willpower, hence he didn't hesitate to follow the black token. After such a long period of swallowing energy attacks, and without the protection of God energy, this black token's life imprint is already very weak. Luo Feng tried to recognize the owner. The moment his God energy rushed in, he discovered that the life imprint was very weak. With just a few attacks, the life imprint left by the 5 turbid lord immediately broke, leaving his own life imprint. The black token was now his. Rumble. The blood pyramid slowly descended, stopping in the churning green water. This green water was incomparably cold, completely comparable to the thunder fire of the frozen lake. The moment I fall into the abyss, it'll be extremely hard to get out. I'll first investigate this abyss. In the map left behind by Jiafanzi, there's only a very brief description of the abyss, especially this 9th abyss. The blood pyramid that floated on the surface of the green water began to emit a blurry golden light. The abyss was vast and very complicated. Back then Jiafanzi had only rushed in a straight line and left after a brief exploration. The area he had recorded was probably less than 1/1,000,000th of the abyss itself. In this abyss I have to rely on myself. Luo Feng carefully began to investigate and understand this abyss. After all, within this short period of time he was going to make this his home. In the endless cosmic sea, chaotic currents filled the air. 2 figures were teleporting over a long distance, shoulder to shoulder. Their auras were very ordinary without the slightest bit of power. However, if any of the cosmic lords in the cosmic sea were to see them, they would probably be able to recognize them. After all, whenever a lord of the universe roamed the cosmic sea, he or she would be informed that there were some existences that he or she could not afford to provoke. These 2 people were definitely not to be trifled with. The 3rd true lord of the holy-eyed race. The 6th true lord. The one-eyed phantom behind them had long since disappeared, and they looked like ordinary humans. Wu Hun suffered a big loss this time. Those foreign tribes are still mocking the experts of our holy-eyed clan for being useless. If this time we will move together. We must let those foreign tribes understand the prestige of our holy-eyed clan. Our holy-eyed clan is the #1 power of the first reincarnation era. In the entire cosmic sea, even the 2 sacred lands wouldn't easily provoke us. That primal universe human actually dares to provoke us. Indeed. The 2 sacred lands universe didn't want to easily provoke the holy-eyed clan. Because the holy-eyed clan was extremely strong. They had many universe lords. Of course they were still lacking compared to the 2 sacred lands. However, the holy-eyed clan had a total of 7 strongest warriors. This was much more powerful than the 2 sacred lands. The 2 sacred lands universe had no way of producing the strongest in the universe. They were all the strongest that had survived since the ancient times. Plus, the 2 sacred lands universe, the small universe of the strongest that had survived had long been destroyed. Even though they were still alive, the destruction of their small universe had greatly affected their strength. At the level of the strongest experts in the universe, he was weak in terms of martial power. This made the 2 sacred lands universe slightly fearful of the strongest race from the 3 great reincarnation eras. The holy-eyed clan. The end is near. Another jade-eyed man with a serious expression said, our holy-eyed clan has to make one last gamble. Before this, anyone that dares to provoke our holy-eyed clan will be punished. This time, Silver Wing leader Luo Feng and Wu Hun fell into the abyss together, causing the Silver Wing treasure and the extermination godly armor to be within. I reckon the strongest of the universe will head over. Even the strongest human huge axe will be there. Right, that's very likely. That huge axe is a junior. Even though he's strong, he doesn't even have a treasure. How would he be a match for us? Our 7 holy-eyed clan, in the recent 3 reincarnation eras, along with the ancient techniques from the 3 great forbidden lands, studying them carefully, I'm afraid in the entire cosmic sea, only the primal ancestor that has been suppressed forever can suppress us. The other strongest of the universe are nothing to fear. This time, no matter how many strongest come, we have to punish them. Especially that creator huge axe. This matter has something to do with the humans. We've reached the universe boat. So, Two seemingly normal silhouettes had already reached the area around the universe boat. With long-distance teleportation they rushed towards the boat. Universe C, distant pinnacle world inner region. A water screen enveloped the land and land wantonly scattering. Within the water screen there were even huge rocks flying at high speeds. Rumble. A glaring axe appeared in mid-air. This huge axe was about 90,000 kilometers long. The surface of the axe was extremely huge. On the back of the axe were ancient engravings. The engravings were mysterious. At this time this huge axe was emitting a light that shot into the sky. It immediately tore through the surrounding space, causing the water screen to disperse and the huge rocks to shatter. All laws were forced to retreat. Break. A powerful roar resounded. The space ahead had long been frozen. There was no way to teleport. However, this huge axe completely forced back all laws. It wasn't restricted by the laws and its speed was ridiculous. 1,000 times the speed of light, 10,000 times the speed of light, it continued to rise. Within a few minutes, it had passed through the frozen space region. Then he directly teleported and the giant axe disappeared into thin air. Using absolute strength to sweep through everything, not caring about consuming large amounts of God energy. Whether it was teleportation or high speed, the creator of huge axe went all out. After a total of 3 months he finally rushed out of Pinnacle World. We're finally out. The barefooted savage stood in the space outside the Pinnacle World. He gazed into the distant endless space. The god-eyed race is in the first reincarnation era. Facing the end of their lives they're even crazier. Plus they're very arrogant. They don't even respect the two sacred lands. After losing face this time, they definitely have to use this opportunity to show off. The ancestor roamed the universe sea back then. He killed so many that none of the universe's strongest dared to be arrogant in front of him. This time I'll imitate the ancestor. With this huge axe, I can finally show off my true strength for once. God-eyed race, I'll start with you. The barefooted savage's eyes were filled with terrifying madness and absolute confidence. After which, he teleported again and again. Very quickly, he left the Pinnacle World region and swiftly rushed towards the universe boat in the endless universe sea. Ninth abyss, deep within. The blood pyramid flew slowly. Through the golden country it surveyed the vast region. However, there were many special regions within the abyss. Luo Feng couldn't clearly scan 99% of them. No wonder the map Fanzi left behind was so simple. I can't scan here or there. I can only rely on my eyes to slowly scan. Luo Feng looked outside from within the blood pyramid. As an absolute treasure, the star pagoda naturally didn't obstruct Luo Feng's vision. Using such a simple and primitive method, along with the golden country that could only scan a small region, he carefully scanned. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. Even though he only scanned a small region, it made Luo Feng understand. The abyss is truly dangerous and stingy. There are dangers everywhere. If I had a top-level palace treasure, I wouldn't even be able to survive 5 minutes. If I had a pinnacle palace treasure, I definitely wouldn't be able to survive a day. Luckily I have the star pagoda. Luo Feng was terrified of the abyss's danger level. In terms of the environment, the danger level of the magma ocean was pretty much common. The only difference with the god-destroying stream was, there weren't any living beings like the magma demon god that attacked. It's so dangerous, yet not a single treasure appears. This is too much. Other places, the more dangerous it is, the higher the chances of a powerful treasure appearing. This place however is special. Is there something weird about it? Luo Feng was curious. However, this weirdness had been noticed by the absolute warriors from every rebirth era. They had all come here to investigate. Like Fanzi and the others, they had at least scanned the area. However, countless experiences had proven one thing: the abyss was extremely stingy. There were no treasures appearing. Even if there were treasures, they were left here after the strong fell. The star pagoda continued to fly, discovering many dangerous areas within the abyss. However, there were no treasures. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. His vision wasn't obstructed by the star pagoda. He could see the distant whirlwind howling and flying about a black dot. Go over. Luo Feng controlled the star pagoda to fly over. As it got closer, he observed carefully. The closer he got, the more he could see. That black dot seemed to be a black scale. It seemed to be the black scale of the godly extermination armor. Don't tell me. Luo Feng's eyes revealed a sense of excitement. He urged the star pagoda over. After a while, the star pagoda flew into the wild wind region. Boundless golden light spread out. Although it was unable to investigate due to the interference, it could still unleash attacks, restraints, and other powers. It easily caught the black scale and after a while, it put the black scale into the star tower. Holding onto the black scale, Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Right, this is one of the scales of the godly extermination armor. Since I've discovered this scale, it looks like the other scales are close too. Luo Feng held the black scale. The scale was about the size of a basin. After holding it, it felt slightly cold. Even looking at it with the naked eye, one could feel the terrifying energy contained within the black scale. The extermination godly armor is famous. However, it has always been in the hands of the 5 turbid lord and no other warriors have ever obtained it. Hence the true uniqueness of the extermination godly armor is just a rumor in the universe sea. However, it is publicly acknowledged, including many of the strongest warriors in the universe, they all believe it to be second only to the ultimate treasures. Luo Feng still remembered the scene of the 5 turbid lord transforming into the 5 beast gods. The The extermination godly armor was definitely very suitable for him. This level of treasure is even more valuable than the wonders. Even though the wonders are powerful, they don't have any engravings to control. I wonder what power this extermination godly armor has and what its true name is. Luo Feng looked at the black scale before him and his heart was burning. I have to get the extermination godly armor. Rumble. Luo Feng's god energy immediately drilled into the black scale. This scale had been drifting through the abyss and was attacked by many things without any god energy to protect it. Just like the Wu slaying wings that had been through so much damage, even though this scale didn't have any damage, the life imprint on it was already very shallow. With just 2 attacks, it swiftly seeped in and imprinted a life imprint. Luo Feng frowned. There's no message? This scale recognized its owner, yet it didn't feel anything special. Don't tell me this scale is part of the countless scales of the extermination godly armor and there are too few of them? Hence there's no power? Luo Feng muttered to himself. This was possible too. The so-called damaged treasures, at least had to be able to be used normally for there to be a message. Begin searching. So, the blood-colored star pagoda immediately began to move. Luo Feng began to search like an inescapable net. Since he only recognized one scale, he didn't feel any calling or message, so he could only slowly search around. However, since he found the first one, there must be others nearby. Hua, hua. Luo Feng controlled the golden country and transformed it into a huge golden hand that grabbed the dangerous areas and carefully searched. The second piece. Luo Feng was surprised. Oh, the third piece. In reality, there were indeed many other scales of the extermination godly armor around. Scales were swiftly discovered one by one, causing Luo Feng's collection to continuously increase. It was a pity. Even as the number of scales increased, there was still no information regarding the extermination godly armor reaching Luo Feng's consciousness. Cosmic Sea, first universe of the holy-eyed race. Lord of 5 Turbid frowned and quickly walked out of the meditation room. He came to the railing of the majestic palace and looked at the sky. First True Lord. A blurry figure condensed in the air in front of him. Wu Hun. The first True Lord looked at him. First True Lord. Lord of 5 muddled said anxiously. Previously, I lost my connection with my black keepsake. Although I couldn't sense its direction in the cosmic sea, I could at least sense its existence. However, the black keepsake was the first to lose contact with me. I originally thought that the attacks in the dark abyss were too terrifying, and the successive attacks caused my life imprint to shatter. But just now. The first True Lord furrowed his eyebrows. Speak. Just now, I could faintly sense the countless scales of the extermination godly armor. However, just now, I realized that the scales were rapidly disappearing. Obviously, my life imprint was shattering one after another. However, my extermination godly armor broke down into countless scales and was swept in. Even under special circumstances, only a portion of the scales should be shattering a large amount of my life imprint at once. However, the continuous shattering made me feel that a strong warrior had found my extermination godly armor scales and was recognizing them as their owner. Lord of 5 muddled said solemnly. A strong warrior found it? The first True Lord was confused. There's a strong warrior in the 9th abyss? Not many know about the 9th abyss. Only us, the primeval universe humans and the Purple Moon Sacred Land know about it. Lord of 5 muddled said solemnly. Those who dare to enter the abyss are definitely the strongest in the universe. The highest possibility is that it's the primeval universe humans or the Purple Moon Sacred Land strongest. Or it could be someone who is very close to the 9th abyss and immediately went to explore after receiving the news. The first True Lord nodded slightly. Things were troublesome. There was actually a strong warrior who snatched it first. The probability of it being another strong warrior is extremely high. It's the environment of the abyss that caused the life imprint to shatter. The probability is extremely low unless it's a coincidence. Lord of 5 muddled said. I understand. First True Lord said slowly. Lord of 5 muddled bowed and retreated. He was very clear that the only thing he could do now was to report the news. There was nothing else he could do. Universe Boat Inner District. The 3rd True Lord and the 6th True Lord were advancing majestically in the Inner District. What? Yes, teacher. The 6th True Body's consciousness was conversing with the 1st True Lord. Following which, he turned to look at the 3rd True Lord and said solemnly, Teacher just gave me some news. It's a little troublesome. The 3rd True Lord looked over. What did God Eye say? The 1st True Lord was also the first person in the history of the God Eye race to become the strongest in the universe. At that time he was given the title, God Eye. He also followed the path of God Eye to become the strongest in the universe. Hence, he was called the God Eye True Lord in the Cosmic Sea. Furthermore, 3 of the other 6 True Lords were disciples of the God Eye True Lord. Teacher said that there should be experts in the 9th abyss who are collecting the scales of the godly extermination armor. The 6th True Lord said solemnly, We've just entered the Inner District and are still very far away. We can't stop them even if we want to. There's actually experts there? The 3rd True Lord was instantly anxious. No matter how strong they were, they couldn't reach there directly. We can't care anymore. The 3rd True Lord gritted his teeth and roared, Let's burn our divine power and tear through spacetime to reach there as fast as possible. And 6th True Lord nodded. Boom. The 2 of them were completely enraged. Although both of them had a supreme treasure, it wasn't an offensive type of supreme treasure. Hence, in terms of tearing through spacetime, they weren't as fast as the creator of the huge axe. It was just that the creator of the huge axe was slower than them at the start and had only just arrived outside the universe boat. Crazily collecting. One by one the scales were collected. In the abyss, the Golden Kingdom turned into a huge golden monster. The golden monster grabbed, kicked, and used all sorts of methods to sweep through the area. Soon more and more scales were collected. 9,310, 9,311. Luo Feng didn't stop at all. However, even after collecting so many, the scales were still very messy and didn't form into a single piece. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, over a month had passed. Luo Feng completely followed the distribution of the scales. The more densely packed the scales were, the more carefully he searched. In his mind, he naturally formed a picture. It was easy to guess where most of the scales were. Relying on this method, Luo Feng's efficiency was very high. The 182900. Luo Feng wasn't as excited as before. He was just looking forward to when the scales would change. Wah! The large amount of black scales that had been placed in the core control room of the Star Tower suddenly fiercely gathered towards the 182900 scale that Luo Feng had collected. Pi Li Pa La, with the 182,900 as the core, they madly connected, embedded and assembled. Simultaneously, energy emanated from them. An incomparably crazy energy made Luo Feng recall the space in the wings. The bloodstains on the white wings contained a crazy willpower. After a while, on top of the large amount of scales, a simple black wrist guard floated. Luo Feng extended his left hand and immediately the black wrist guard flew over and wrapped around his wrist, quickly merging with it. Simultaneously, a message swiftly entered his consciousness. Luo Feng said softly, so the true name of the Exterminating God armor is the Demon Exterminating Armor. The Demon Exterminating Armor was its true name. Or rather, it was the name given to it by the creator of the armor. As for the Exterminating God armor, it was named by the 5 Turbid Lord himself. After passing it around, the entire universe knew of it. Just a wrist guard, it's useless. The message this time was pitifully little. It was just the name and some of the uses of the wrist guard. The simple engravings on the wrist guard could unleash attacks. However, obviously this level of attack couldn't even compare to Luo Feng's own Universe Lord technique. However, this name, it seems like this Exterminating God armor isn't normal. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. This was expected. After all, it was only second to the absolute treasures. Naturally it couldn't be normal. And according to the normal rules, to the weak, using a wonder or using an absolute treasure that couldn't truly unleash its power, the difference in unleashing power wasn't much. Absolute treasures, only in the hands of those who could truly unleash their power would they be able to unleash it. For example, to the strongest of the universe, the wonder and absolute treasures had a huge difference, and a few heavenly universe lords might be able to unleash the full power of the absolute treasures. However, to Luo Feng, who had only activated the second level of the Star Pagoda, he hadn't even unleashed the true power of the Star Pagoda. The Star Pagoda was equivalent to a wonder, which meant the Exterminating God armor and the silver wings in Luo Feng's hands were equivalent to the Star Pagoda, at least for now. With the silver wings, Luo Feng didn't even care about the 4th level. With the Star Pagoda shuttle, Luo Feng could completely suppress the 4th level. However, against the Star River Lord, it still wasn't enough. I don't know the true power of the Exterminating God armor, Luo Feng thought. Continue searching. Summoning. After Luo Feng acquired the first part, the wrist guard of the Exterminating God armor, he could already feel the faint summoning. Like the other scales around him and the scales scattered not too far away. Haha. According to the summoning, Luo Feng's searching speed immediately exploded and his efficiency became extremely high. Scales after scales were constantly being gathered. He even began to discover the golden scales. The entire Exterminating God armor's right hand was golden, while the rest was black. In the blink of an eye, another 32 days had passed. Luo Feng's collection of scales had already reached 6920021. According to the rough assembly, it should be about 80% of the entire Exterminating God armor. Even though the quantity was large, it seemed to be lacking many parts. The entire armor was still scattered, and many of the engravings on the armor were incomplete. Rumble. Just as he recognized the owner of the 6920021 scales, a huge change occurred again. Wrist guard, boots, skirt armor, they all began to assemble. Waves of frenzied energy constantly attacked Luo Feng's willpower. However, after experiencing the training in the wing space, he naturally resisted it easily. Very quickly, a half-completed Exterminating God armor floated in mid-air. The half-finished God Extermination armor floated in mid-air within the core control room of the Star Tower, emitting a black glow. The armor was pitch black, only the right claw was golden. Much ancient information flowed into Luo Feng. Even though he didn't understand the words, he understood the meaning. So this is the crazy demon God Exterminating armor. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with glee. No wonder it's second only to the absolute treasures. Powerful, powerful, it's exactly what I need. The information he received earlier already included a large portion of the information on the armor. The crazy demon God Exterminating armor had many uses. As an armor, its defense was naturally strong. It had an effect on the willpower of the soul, the material was special, even soul attacks would be weakened by 1%. Its defense against material attacks was even stronger, it could completely weaken them by 1/100,000. Just these 2 points alone made it extremely valuable. It was even more valuable than the Calamity armor. Secondly, it was formed from a total of 8,999,999 scales. These 9 million scales could form many different shapes. It could be used as a spirit weapon. Just like how the Lord of 5 Turbid used it to form the 5 beast gods. This was a long-range attack. In close combat, its right claw was its strongest point of attack. Other than defense, long-range attack, and close combat, the Crazy Demon God Vanquishing armor also had a very special ability. It was named Crazy Demon, because if the user's consciousness and willpower became more and more compatible with the Crazy Demon God Vanquishing armor, it would cause the user to become even crazier. It could even reach a certain point where the user would forget everything during battle and only know how to fight like a crazy demon. The mad state would also produce a strong willpower attack. Of course it wasn't that strong, it wasn't very useful. What a demonic mad demon exterminating armor. Luo Feng looked up at the floating mad demon destroyer armor. Immediately the armor became a black light and swiftly flew into Luo Feng's body, following which black scales appeared on his body. As for the Calamity armor from before, Luo Feng had already kept it. Mad? Luo Feng frowned. Demonic, dangerous. Being mad wasn't a good thing. According to the information he received, the moment one entered the mad state, one would be affected by the armor and forget everything else, only knowing to fight. This was a very dangerous state, because no matter how desperately they fought, they still had to calmly judge the situation in the depths of their hearts. No wonder I've never heard of the Lord of 5 Turbid using his willpower attack. Luo Feng thought, this is indeed useless. Fortunately, his close combat, long-range attacks, and defense are all extremely heaven-defying, especially his right claw. Luo Feng was anticipating within. The entire Mad Demon Destroyer armor had many different engravings. There were specialized material defense engravings, combination engravings, even the golden right claw had a specialized 3-level engraving. However, it was obvious that many of the engravings were slightly damaged. Clearly they were still lacking parts. In terms of defense, combination, and other aspects, secret patterns are not difficult. Luo Feng's understanding of the engravings was extremely deep. He could quickly judge. The most profound is the engravings on the golden right claw. It feels like it's comparable to the Wu Yu Yi, however it's obviously weaker than the Star Tower. Keep looking. Luo Feng couldn't care less about studying the engravings. I'm afraid I won't be able to fully comprehend these engravings in a short period of time, and the God-Eyed clan's strongest warriors are probably rushing over. With their speed, I believe it won't be long before they arrive. I have to rush and collect all the scales before they arrive. Time passed in the blink of an eye. Another half a month had passed. Luo Feng spent quite a bit of time going from the universe boat back then to the abyss. However, the 3rd True Lord and 6th True Lord were extremely arrogant as they charged forwards with shocking speed. Ahead is the frozen lake Thunderfire, and right above it is the abyss. According to the coordinates, if we rush upwards we'll head towards the 9th abyss. In such a short period of time, I believe even if there's someone searching for treasure in the 9th abyss, he probably hasn't come out yet. The abyss is vast and a large portion of the area can't be scanned with domains. We can only rely on our eyes and senses etc. to scan the entire area, and with our strongest senses, he can forget about escaping. Let's go. So, the two of them sat on the pinnacle palace treasures, becoming 2 beams of light that tore through space and time, causing the origin laws to retreat. Their speed soared, 500 times light speed, 1000 times light speed. They quickly rushed past the frozen lake Thunderfire and saw the huge endless abyss black hole above. Their speed decreased. Even the strongest warriors of the universe wouldn't dare to rush into the abyss at such high speeds. After all, the swallowing strength of the abyss itself was shocking. Along with their own high speed, it was entirely possible that the pinnacle palace wouldn't be able to withstand it. Forcefully decreasing their speed and stopping, following the swallowing strength to slowly enter. Even universe lords riding on pinnacle palace treasures wouldn't be able to survive. But the strongest of the universe were different. They used pinnacle palace treasures. Yet they could unleash even more powerful techniques, allowing them to completely traverse the abyss. Enter the abyss. I want to see who's stealing the treasures of our God-Eyed clan. The extermination godly armor and wings, these 2 will definitely belong to our God-Eyed clan. My time is almost up. This time I'm going to establish my might. No matter which strongest of the universe it is, you can only count yourself unlucky. The 2 strongest of the universe were filled with killing intent as they flew straight into the abyss. Even if it was the strongest of the universe, the 2 of them were prepared to fight. One had to know that the God-Eyed clan had acquired the ancient engravings from the 3 great forbidden grounds. After studying them carefully, the 7 true lords had comprehended many wonders, even combining their techniques. In the entire universe C, other than the ancestor, they indeed didn't fear anyone. At this time in the depths of the 9th abyss. Where is it? Where is it? Luo Feng sat on the blood pyramid and flew within the 9th abyss. He was extremely anxious. Where are the last few scales? The extermination godly armor had a total of 8,999,999 scales. Back when he was searching, he was afraid that some of the scales would be lost in some distant unknown place. Until now, it was indeed so. Right now, he had already collected a total of 8,999,993 scales. Only the last 6 scales were missing. Missing even a single scale won't do. The extermination godly armor will be slightly damaged. Luo Feng was anxious. Just based on the feeling of being summoned, he couldn't find it at all. There's no feeling of being summoned. That means the scales are further away. Luo Feng closed his eyes. A map appeared in his mind. This was the distribution of the large amount of scales he had collected. Through this distribution he began to deduce. I can deduce that there are 9 possible locations for the last 6 scales. They are all at different edges of the distribution map. Luo Feng swiftly decided on a route. The blood pyramid immediately flew at high speed according to the route and began to search for the last 6 scales. In terms of summoning, this extermination godly armor obviously couldn't compare to the killer Wu wings. The wings were light years away and they could still feel it intensely. However, the extermination godly armor's maximum range was less than half a light year. From this, one could see the difference between the two treasures. Just 2 of the killer Wu wings are already so strong. If there were a total of 6, how terrifying would that be? Luo Feng thought. I've already discovered a treasure shard. I reckon that after Luo Feng and Wu Hun died, the treasure flew towards this direction. Search carefully. The 3rd and 6th True Lord had already been in the abyss for a total of 8 days. The 2 of them followed the direction of the swallowing energy and quickly arrived at the approximate location. At the same time they finally discovered a treasure shard. This made them understand. The other treasure shards and the extermination godly armor shouldn't be too far away. Luo Feng followed the large amount of scale distribution map from before and flew towards the edge. He didn't dare to use the golden country recklessly. Because according to his calculations, the strongest warrior in the universe would probably enter the 9th abyss soon. If he used the golden country, wouldn't he become a target? The dust-like blood pyramid flew at high speed. Luo Feng was wearing the black mad demon extermination armor as he searched according to the summoning. I'm still missing 2 pieces. 9 days. I found 4 scales in 9 days. I'm only missing the last 2. Luo Feng felt a sense of danger. He had a feeling that the strongest warrior in the universe could appear at any time. The last 2 pieces. And out of the 9 possible locations, I still have 3 that I haven't searched yet. The abyss is vast. The areas I've been following are all areas that can't be searched. If they want to find me, they can only look. I believe they won't be able to find me in a short period of time. The last 3 areas are rather far away. I'll probably need half a month to search them all. Luo Feng anticipated. Half a month. At the latest, I'll be able to search them all. I have to find the last 2 scales to form the complete mad demon extermination armor. The 3rd True Lord and 6th True Lord continued to search towards the area of the scales. Another 3 days passed. Luo Feng suppressed his anxiety and controlled the star pagoda to fly according to the predetermined path. When I was in the center of the whirlpool in the magma sea, my speed exceeded the control of the origin laws. If the strongest warrior in the universe were to fight, they would also have such methods. Luo Feng forced himself to calm down and carefully sensed the surroundings. The moment a special energy wave appeared, he would immediately hide. Luo Feng frowned and took out a tag. This was a token given to him by his teacher, Mountain Traveler. They could communicate through this token. Luo Feng. Mountain Passenger contacted. Teacher. Luo Feng replied. Where are you right now? Mountain Passenger asked. I'm still in the 9th abyss. Luo Feng said. Not that, I'm asking you, where are you in the 9th abyss? I'm already in the 9th abyss and following the swallowing energy. I discovered the 3rd and 6th True Lord earlier. However, they didn't discover me. Tell me where you are. Mountain Passenger's message stunned Luo Feng for a moment. Teacher? Teacher is here? Teacher you? Luo Feng was indeed stunned. If I didn't come, even if you became the Universe Lord and used the Star Pagoda, you wouldn't be able to resist the swallowing energy and rush out. Don't tell me you want to stay in this abyss forever? Mountain Passenger said. Teacher. Luo Feng's heart was filled with warmth. At this time his teacher had rushed over. Back then he said he didn't care about Luo Feng's life and death. His words were ruthless, yet he had directly arrived. This made Luo Feng's heart filled with gratitude. However, he buried this gratitude deep within his heart and memorized it. Teacher, I'm now. Luo Feng described the surrounding dangerous areas in detail, allowing his teacher to understand his location. I'm coming. Mountain Passenger said. Luo Feng, those 2 True Lords are within the abyss. Their senses are very strong. In order to not be discovered by them, my speed won't exceed 100 times the speed of light. Hence, I'll need about 5 days to reach you. Mountain Passenger said. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. He still had the last 3 regions to go, and his teacher seemed to be quite far away. That meant he could definitely go to another region. Teacher, then let's meet at another place. Luo Feng immediately reported the last 3 regions that were closest to him. Alright, I'll need about 6 days to reach there. Mountain Passenger replied. After which, the connection was cut. Luo Feng held the tag in his hand. He was no longer anxious, only excited, his eyes gleaming. Once Teacher Mountain Passenger arrives, all the danger will disappear. Teacher knew I was in the abyss and immediately rushed over. In his heart, he had always been wary of Mountain Passenger. But this time, Mountain Passenger's swift arrival warmed Luo Feng's heart. 6 days later. In the continuous ice mountain range, the ice on the mountain range still had the frozen lake's thunderfire revolving around it. The blood-colored star tower stopped within the lake's thunderfire. It was impossible to see with the naked eye. The last 3 regions, I've searched this one too, there's nothing. Then only the last 2 regions are left. Luo Feng desperately wanted the last two scales of the godly annihilation armor. Without the last two, the entire demon annihilation armor would be incomplete. Luo Feng. Suddenly, a message was transmitted. Luo Feng let out a look of glee, holding the tag in his hand and communicating, "Teacher, I'm here. Come over, I'm already here. I'm at the peak of the triangular mountain peak." Mountain passenger said. Triangular mountain peak? Luo Feng immediately understood. This continuous ice mountain range had many mountain peaks. The mountain peaks were very strange, like a Rubik's Cube. There was indeed a mountain peak that looked triangular from the side, as though it had been sliced by a knife. So, the Scarlet Pyramid quickly flew out of the frozen lake's thunderfire and headed in that direction. It flew past mountain after mountain, and soon, it saw the triangular mountain that was as smooth as if it was carved. It flew directly to the peak of the mountain. At the peak of the mountain, it could see some scattered icy mountain rocks. However, no matter how it looked, it did not see any mountain dwellers. "Teacher, I'm here, where are you?" asked Luo Feng. Hua! Among the frozen rocks on the mountain peak, one of the rocks changed color. It became dark cyan and floated in the air. At the same time, a cave appeared on that rock. The cave was so small that even an ant would be able to crawl into it. "Come in." Yes. The dust-like star pagoda directly flew into the cave. Within the mountain rock, it was incomparably beautiful, almost like a glass world within. Many small worlds were scattered within, and when Luo Feng entered, he was immediately guided into one of the core worlds. Within the vast core world, there were many living things, including countless animals, plants, and even humans and other races. "Teacher." Luo Feng saw the mountain guest standing on a distant mountain peak. Mountain passenger turned his head and looked at the black armor on Luo Feng's body. He frowned and looked at it carefully, then said, "This is the godly extermination armor?" Yes, Luo Feng smiled and nodded. He let his teacher discover it on his own accord. Otherwise, with just a thought, he could change color and shape slightly, making it hard to tell. "You've gained quite a lot this time. You actually got this godly extermination armor. I've heard of its name long ago, but I've never seen it before." Mountain passenger said, "Let me take a closer look." Yes. Luo Feng knew that his teacher was an absolute being that created treasures. With a thought, the half-completed godly extermination armor immediately flew over. Mountain passenger stood there with both hands extended, holding the godly extermination armor. He looked at it carefully, even at the engravings on the surface. The more he looked, the more he frowned. "It's called?" Mountain passenger turned to look at Luo Feng. "Crazy demon extermination armor?" "Teacher, how did you know?" Luo Feng was shocked. This godly extermination armor had always been with Lord of Five Turbid and hadn't been spread around. Its real name should not have been known by other warriors. Mountain passenger laughed softly. "Teacher naturally had some special encounters, so I knew about the existence of the crazy demon extermination armor. However, this was my first time looking at it carefully. Only then did I realize. Lord of Five Turbid's godly extermination armor was the crazy demon extermination armor. This is also a supreme treasure, but you must remember one thing." Luo Feng listened. "The moment you enter the crazy demon extermination armor, the more crazy you become, the stronger the armor's power will be. However, the moment you lose your consciousness and enter the crazy demon extermination armor, then you won't be able to stay awake. You'll need another warrior to wake you up in a short period of time. If no warrior breaks your crazy demon extermination armor and wakes you up, you'll lose your consciousness forever." Mountain passenger said. Luo Feng's expression changed greatly. "I'll remember." Luckily his teacher taught him. Mountain passenger snorted softly, his eyes seemed to see through the endless space and time. "The universe sea is mysterious and unpredictable. I only learned of it by chance. You don't have to worry. Use the crazy demon extermination armor to control your heart. Don't let the crazy demon extermination armor control you. The moment you can match the strongest warrior's willpower in the universe, then no matter how crazy you get, this crazy demon extermination armor won't be able to make you lose your consciousness." "Also, this armor seems to be damaged?" Mountain passenger looked towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded. "I still have a few more scales. It's just that I'm still missing the last two scales, causing many of them to be unable to fuse. I still have 2 more areas to investigate. I believe those 2 scales should be in those 2 areas." "Where?" "I'll follow you." Mountain passenger smiled. "Being able to obtain the crazy demon extermination armor will be a great help to you." Luo Feng immediately headed towards the last 2 areas with mountain passenger. The third day. "I can feel it, I can feel the summoning. It's in that direction." Luo Feng pointed in a direction. The mountain rock immediately turned and headed towards that direction at high speed. This mountain rock was a treasure personally crafted by mountain passenger. He spent a lot of time and effort on it, paying a huge price. Normally it was a mountain peak. Mountain passenger usually sat on this mountain peak. The universe sea recognized this mountain peak as an extremely powerful treasure. However, from Luo Feng's conversation with his teacher, even though this mountain peak had many uses, it still hadn't stepped into the level of an extremely powerful treasure. Mountain passenger said this, "I'm a special life form, unique. This treasure I've crafted is most compatible with my life form, and it was personally crafted by me. I've even fused some special items into it. It's indestructible. Even though it's not an extremely powerful treasure in my hands, it's not much different from one. Only something that suits you is the best." Mountain passenger continued, Of course, in the vast universe C, in terms of crafting treasures, no one can compare to me. The other warriors, however, have to search for treasures. Luo Feng was speechless. Who could be so powerful? Giving his disciple a star tower and a mountain peak. Mountain Passenger also had many tricks up his sleeves. It was hard to defend against. Even now, no one in the vast universe C knew of Mountain Passenger's true strength. Because Mountain Passenger never clashed head-on with anyone, he relied on all sorts of methods to force the strongest warriors of the other universes into a sorry state. This caused many powers to be unwilling to offend the strongest Lone Ranger, Mountain Passenger. Over there. In that direction. Luo Feng pointed. Rumble. The flying mountain rock broke through many obstacles and crashed into the endless cold ground. There's no way to enter. Mountain Passenger said. But I can feel it, it's below. Luo Feng said. Mountain Passenger frowned too. Below was an endless layer of ice. It was extremely thick without a single crack. I've been to the abyss before. This endless ice is indestructible. Mountain Passenger said softly, and it's completely frozen. Those two scales shouldn't be able to fly down. But I can feel it's below. Luo Feng was suspicious. I've never heard of anyone breaking through the endless ice. Mountain Passenger had no other way. Let me think. Teacher, let me go take a look too. Luo Feng said. All right. Mountain Passenger nodded. He couldn't think of a way at the moment. Maybe Luo Feng would be lucky. Luo Feng immediately sat on the blood pyramid and Mountain Passenger sat on the mountain peak. They began their research in the endless ice. Above the flame lake, within the frozen lake's thunder fire. Rumble. A huge axe tore through space and time. With terrifying speed, it charged into the frozen lake's thunder fire. It flew towards the sky and towards the top. When the endless black hole appeared, the huge axe immediately slowed down. I've arrived. I rushed here from the Qingfeng world. It took me a bit more time. If the strongest warrior from the God-eyed race were to rush at full speed, he would probably be here too. After the huge axe slowed down, it followed the suction force and flew straight into the endless dark abyss. Deep within the ninth abyss, endless ice. The blood pyramid and the dark green mountain rock were both flying above the endless ice, searching. However, after a full 2 days they couldn't find anything. Logically speaking, if the two scales are below, I should be able to enter too. Luo Feng was frustrated. Haha Luo Feng, I found it. I found a way to enter. Mountain Passenger's voice resounded. Come to me. You found it? Yes, I'm coming. Luo Feng was immediately excited. The blood pyramid immediately flew into the dark green mountain rock. Mountain Passenger laughed confidently. The 12 Abyss is famous for being barren. Without treasures, no warriors are willing to enter. I didn't expect the endless ice to have such a mystery. This endless ice layer is very special. In the entire universe C, in the 3 great reincarnation eras and the 2 sacred lands, there are probably no more than 3 who can discover the mystery of this ice layer. Your teacher, if I say I'm number 2 in treasure making, no one would dare say they're number 1. Even this took so long to discover the mystery. If it was you, punk. Even if you trained here to become a universe lord, you probably wouldn't even be able to enter the endless ice layer. Teacher, let's just go in. Luo Feng couldn't help but interrupt his teacher's bragging. I'm very curious too. Watch me. The entire dark cyan mountain suddenly expanded and landed directly on the icy ground. Following that, countless rays of light shot out from the dark cyan mountain. The rays of light distorted and formed countless mysterious runes that began to drill into the icy ground. For a moment, a huge mysterious rune diagram with a radius of 10 billion kilometers appeared on the vast icy ground.